I was so invested in being a straight man, and there were moments in my mind where I'd said, I'm going to take this to the grave. Now all the articles are saying I'm gay and I'm hugging a mate goodbye outside a club, and there's a paparazzi I didn't know was there, that now that's in the front page.
How much protection was put in place? How much advice was given to you?
If I'm honest, I feel like there were people within the show that would be leaking the information. There was never once that I was sat down and said, like, what do you want? Told to go and hold some, like, a Love Islander's hand outside a gym so the paparazzi can get us. Just saying yes. I know it's wrong, but I'm also like, these people hold me in their hands. This music is like this because of, it's so free, because I feel so free.
Hello and welcome back to the queerest podcast telling the fiercest stories. This is Queer Talker. I'm Ben Cicchetti, and today I am joined by pop superstar, X Factor winner. It's all about Skittles. It's all about partying in his room, Matt Terry. Matt, welcome to Queer Talker.
Oh, what an intro. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, we got them all in there, or at least some of them, and we're going to explore even more of them in a bit. So this should be great. Okay, we'll start the way we always do. Queer Panic. You just respond with the first thing that comes to your mind. Starting with, What was the first album you ever owned?
Oof, album. I feel like it was S Club 7.
Love that. I love that
Yeah,
for you.
because I was gonna say, like, we had this little cassette and it was the song "Sweet Like Chocolate Boy."
Yeah.
That one, I can still remember it now, but it wasn't an album. So, but I think that was my first piece of music that I had. But as far as like a CD, what I remember, I feel like it's S Club 7 is what I can see. Yeah,
I love that. I love it. Mine's so random. Mine was the Space Jam soundtrack that my sister bought me. Who knows why that was the choice?
Yeah, why not? Why not?
Yeah. Do you have a dream musical collaboration?
Oh, I think if I can dream and like be Delulu, then Adele, obviously.
Yeah.
But you know, she doesn't collaborate. But so I would consider, like, if she asked me to feed her cat or her dog or trim her bushes, that that's a collaboration with Adele for me.
Yeah, that works. I was thinking like Lil Nas X. I feel like you and Lil Nas X would have a vibe, but like some of his music, your vibe.
Say, imagine like me singing over the top, him rapping underneath. It would be sick. I mean, that is a great, let's manifest that. You know, it's a very powerful manifestation day today.
Is it?
Yes, the 22nd of May. It is. I didn't know this. I didn't release the EP on purpose, but it is a very powerful day. So if we just say Matt Terry X Lil Nas X together, then maybe it will work.
Yes! We'll make it happen. All of our listeners, make it happen. What is your favorite queer movie or TV show?
Oh God. I loved Heartstopper. I know that's pretty recent. I loved Heartstopper. God, it's really, really tough. I might have to go with Heartstopper. I know that is a little like it's obvious, but it made me cry. Like I was just like, that was me, you know.
Yeah. We all had that.
It really well, because I feel like all the prior stuff is all sort of the dark side of the community. It's all, you know, clubs and drugs, and which obviously exists for all of us, but that wasn't my story, you know. As much as I recognize that lives within us, I think I'm gonna go. Sorry, this is supposed to be quick fire, no?
No, this is perfect. Yeah,
okay,
and Heartstopper's great.
Yeah, I'm writing a book.
No, Heartstopper's a great choice. It gave everyone such a good vibe. It was such a positive story, and it's such a good representation across the entire LGBTQ plus community. So I'm totally with you there.
And they gave us all a bit of healing. I think that's millennials specifically. Like they gave me healing, at least.
Yeah. It gave us hope for the next generation that they're going to get that kind of teenage love stories that we didn't get. Totally.
That part.
Yeah. Who is your ultimate queer icon?
Oh God, I'm so indecisive. Like I know that what's God. Do you know what? Who makes me just smile and somebody that just is unapologetically themselves and is Jonathan Van Ness.
Yeah.
Like,
Fair.
oh my God. I wish that I could have been brave enough to walk out into the world the way that Jonathan does.
Yeah. Totally agree.
Always. Just be yourself. That's my
Yeah.
answer. Sorry.
Love that. Okay. And obviously, as we all know, you competed and won X Factor in 2016. But I'm curious, did you have a favorite performance while on the show?
Yes, I loved Spell on You, the Halloween week. It
That's great.
was my favorite song to sing. I loved all the outfit. I loved the sprayed white grey hair that I had. I loved it was my first time wearing guy liner and I was living.
Yeah. Okay. I love that. That's an awesome choice. And I'm genuinely not saying this just because you are my guest today on Queer Talker, but as I've said, Skittles has just been my vibe since it came out. Amazing song, incredible song, one of my favorite songs of 2026.
Oh, thanks.
And so maybe it's a slightly obvious question, but it's also made me obsessed with Skittles. So do you have a favorite Skittles color?
It's got to be the red one.
It's got to be the
Classic.
red, right?
It's just like it does everything. It tastes good, it looks good. That's the color that I see when I think because the packet is red.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm going with Skittles, the red one. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm with you. And as you mentioned, we are recording this on the day that Party in My Room drops. How would you describe the project in one word?
Freedom.
I love that. It's a great choice.
That
Okay,
was really hard for me to do one word, Sorry.
It always tends to be one of the harder questions. When you have to bring something down to a single word, it's incredibly tough. But we'll get a bit deeper. We'll get to know you a little bit better. And as I said, many of us obviously first became aware of you as Matt Terry from The X Factor. But tell me who you were before you stepped onto that show.
Who was I? I was a presenting straight young guy trying to find his way in the world of being creative. I was a waiter at the time, like all of us have done that are trying to make it. I'd graduated from a musical theatre college, but I will say I was very happy with I was always content. I didn't have much, we didn't come, I don't come from a wealthy background. But I never felt like I didn't. Like I've always just been super appreciative of everything that I had and have, and I'm grateful that I was raised that way. I never saw myself of having less. I think just lucky. I felt I was a happy-go-lucky kind of guy, and I'm proud and happy to say that I found my way back to him. So it's been a full circle. I got lost along the way after the show for many years. And now I finally that's me figuring out who I am. I guess I hate this term, but like in the closet and not just for people to understand, we create these boxes that we tick. Okay, I like this and this is what I do. And then as I've got older, I'm unticking these boxes of like, is this actually what I like? Or was this me sort of protecting myself from being like outed or being people discovering that I'm gay? So it's like, no, I can enjoy, I don't know, barber shops and wearing snapbacks, but then also a lip gloss if I want to. Like it's all whatever, So that was me.
Yeah. When did you discover kind of your musical ability? Like to have discovered such a talent? I'm so curious as to when that kind of thing hits. Like, oh, I'm not only a good singer, I'm an amazing singer.
So I remember at the weekends when I was a kid, we used to go to our next door neighbor's house and have like Chinese and do karaoke. And I would sing Endless Love and sing both parts. And I remember my mum being surprised. I remember her being like, "Ma, that was really good." And me thinking, wow, that was really good. And then as I've got older, I was saying, of course, my mum's going to say that about me. And it was sort of known in my town that I was a singer. It's a really small town in Spain where I grew up. And everyone's like, yeah, Matt's the singer, like he's the singer guy. And I never really took it seriously until I moved to London. So when I was 18 and I moved into South London from Spain, and I got into a musical theatre college, and I got the scholarship that they gave out to a student each year. And then I realized that, okay, I have a, well, I'm a good singer. Like
Yeah.
I can do this. Cause like I had people around me that, God, that sounds really big headed on me. But
It doesn't.
I had people to compare myself to,
Yeah.
and teachers and, um, I think when I really got the okay was when a singing teacher called Paul, who's really prestigious. He's done like Phantom of the Opera and all things like that. When he had a break, it's like, this isn't me getting the violins out, but I couldn't afford private singer lessons at the school. But whenever he had a spare 20 minutes between classes, he'd come and pull me out of a class and be like, do you want to come and have a play? And I'd be like, yes, let's go.
Yeah.
And that was when I was like, okay, if he just wants to hang out and sing with me for free, then I've got to be all right.
Yeah. 100%. And I guess coming through that journey, and obviously you're going through the musical theatre school, you're probably discovering things about yourself. Do you remember the first LGBTQ plus person you became aware of, and how that kind of maybe resonated with you or didn't resonate with you? Do you remember how you felt in that moment?
Do I remember? I think I was so invested in being a straight man. And
Mm,
there were moments in my mind where I'd said, I'm going to take this to the grave. I know this
yeah.
about myself, but this isn't this it's just, it will be a secret that I hold within me forever. I know that.
Yeah.
Like I was convinced. So I think I always suppressed it. So like even though I would admire, you know, get other gays and think I'm like, well, that's not me, so I'm just not gonna go there. I'm not gonna go
Mm,
there. I'm committing. Like this is for like if I'm like method acting,
yeah.
that's how method we're going.
Yeah.
Which is awful. It's
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
awful. And it's so sad today, but I didn't understand. I didn't know, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And obviously, we've mentioned that you kind of were thrust into everyone's living rooms and to this kind of huge spotlight when you not only competed, but obviously won the X Factor here in the UK in 2016. And you were only 23 at that time, which is just so young to kind of be suddenly put into such a huge spotlight. Talk to me about the experience of being on the X Factor, something that none of us probably can ever kind of truly appreciate. But I'm also curious in that journey you were just talking about of suppressing it and kind of being that method actor, where you were
Uh,
in your personal journey as you went onto the X Factor and then as kind of your X Factor journey continued.
Yeah, so it's crazy. So obviously in the show and stuff, they ask you about your personal life. And at the time, my girlfriend of 2 years had just left me. And I really did, we're still good friends today, but like I really loved her and I was heartbroken. I was absolutely heartbroken. And they were asking me about that. So as I get on the show, there that's the story about me. Like,
Yeah.
I'm the heartbroken waiter whose girlfriend left him. And that's not something that I conjured up. That's just like I got there and that's what they're saying. So listen, I've got £4 in my bank account and I want to win the show. I'm just gonna do what they're doing and roll
Yeah.
with it because I got nothing to lose. That's what it felt like. And it kind of feels like you're always in the dark. So like the way that I describe it is it's like you just imagine like a WhatsApp group and it's called Matt Terry. And then there's loads of people in there and you can see the conversation happening, but you're not allowed to type. That's sort of
Yeah.
what it feels like. Like you don't
Yeah.
have a say in it. Um, is how I would describe it. But at the same time, I have to talk about the positive side of it and how much it has changed my life. And I am thankful for it. And of course, it was always meant to happen. This was my journey. This is my story, and it's part of it. Um, but it's not all of it. It's
Yeah.
just for me. That's my intro,
Yeah.
to the world. That's how it went. But on the gay side of things, there was another contestant who I was really close with and really good friends with, and the narrative was that me and him were in a secret relationship. Um, and it was tough because I we weren't,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh God, again. So I had a bit of a pattern in my life where I would run from it. So like I grew up in Spain, and when I went to a new school, I'd be like, right, fresh start,
Yeah.
just act super straight and like we're going to be safe, we'll be okay. And then I start going to high school. I'm sure you can relate. And we'll go again. I got another chance. Like that reputation is tarnished now because I'm being called gay again a little bit. Like it's starting to be a notice. So I can start again at a new school. And I felt the same when I moved back to England. I was like, right, now I'm
Yeah.
18. I've got a real clean slate. I can be this version of me that I am picturing in my head. Like
Yeah.
the girlfriend, I'll get married at some point, I'll have children, you know, and it's just, I'm such a Taurus like that. I cannot like not be myself.
Yeah.
Like it just, and then I'd go home and be like, oh, I've ruined it. Like I was too camp today. That's it.
Mm,
Covers blown. And that's how I felt on the show.
yeah.
Right. This is how I'm going to introduce myself. I'll be whoever I want to be. This is the pop star that I want to present to the world. And then you just can't keep it up. It's not
Yeah.
like you can't method act forever. So articles and things would come out and my heart would sink and I would have panic attack, what I would know as panic attacks now. I didn't know what that was then. I thought I was just having a mare. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, having a cry or whatever on my own and be like, what's going on? I got like out of my control. It's spreading like wildfire. Like now all the articles are saying I'm gay and I'm hugging a mate goodbye outside a club and there's a paparazzi I didn't know was there that now that's in the front page. And now
Yeah.
it was a ride, but it's made me, I feel bulletproof.
Yeah.
Like I said to you at the beginning of this interview, there's literally nothing that you can't ask or nothing that I wouldn't say because I'm so comfortable with my journey, with my story and who I am now.
Yeah.
And it's taken
Yeah.
a long time to get here, but I have to say it's thanks to that experience on the show. Sorry, I know that you ask me questions and I sort of jump around a little bit, but I think it gives context.
Yeah, yeah. And I think it's right, because I think I'm curious as to what again, you were 23 going on to that show. I wonder whether there was, going into, was there kind of a fear on your side that this could be the moment something kind of gets quote unquote exposed? But also I'm curious as to a show like that, and I'm sure things have changed, but at then 2016, like how much protection was put in place? How much advice was given to you? How much kind of like, I guess what you would now consider kind of like PR training was given to you, say, like, this is how you would handle a situation if and when it comes up?
Yeah. So if I'm honest, I feel like there were people within the show that would be leaking the information.
Right.
So that shows you that we weren't protected.
Yeah.
And I kind of clocked on, I remember just looking around and thinking, there is no way that anybody would know this
Yeah.
unless it's come from here. This is one piece of crucial information that was like, there's just no way. And I know where it came from. So that's when I was like, okay, I'm not protected in here, but I still want to win this thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like, it's two truths. Like I'm not protected. No one's looking after me, but also I'm going to keep going. I'll keep fighting and I'll keep going. So yeah, it wasn't any of that. I think then I look at it again. I think it's dependent how you look at it. So I've spoken about this before, but there was a point where I'd got really happy and friendly with like the hair and makeup team, and they got really, I've told this story, but they put loads of blonde in my hair and I went to sound check and all of a sudden it was stopped and I was rushed back to hair and makeup and they got a scolding basically. And then I had to dye my hair back before the live show. And the feedback was that I looked too gay. Now, that was a sign for me to be like, okay, then I definitely can't. Now I can see I definitely can't now, like, because they're telling me it's wrong, to look that way. But also, was it a form of protection? As in, like, they know what the world could be like, how homophobic, especially in 2016. Woof, Twitter was a minefield.
Yeah.
Minefield. Like, we were never safe. Never safe. On those weeks that you were live on TV, you stay off Twitter because that was brutal. And I wouldn't recommend that to anybody. So I'll never know if it came from a place of we really want him to succeed. We'd love for him to win. Maybe their thing was if people think he's gay, maybe the girls won't vote for him and he's not going to win.
Yeah.
So were they trying to help me? I don't know. Or are they just homophobic?
Yeah.
So,
yeah. But it's interesting, right? Because I feel like in that situation myself, I would kind of almost go into a shell because I would feel like I need to protect myself and I need to almost not show too much of myself. But when I went back and watched a bunch of your performances from the show, you kind of literally from the audition to the kind of finale, you have this confidence and you just kind of exude this confidence. So I'm wondering, did you feel that in yourself? Did you feel that super confident, or was it either your musical theater training, or what was it you felt you could bring that confidence and show that confidence on screen?
Yeah, it's really hard to think if you're not an artist to kind of to understand it because it just sounds a bit like wanky. But when I'm on stage, I'm not like the personal Matt that you'd meet in this interview.
Yeah.
Your artistry just takes over you, and I think that's how I won the competition was because each week my nerves lessened.
Mm,
Whereas I think it could be quite the opposite. You can go in there feeling confident and giving it your all, and then like the competition starts to eat away at you a little bit and you get smaller and smaller. Whereas I felt the other way. Like I remember week one being a deer in headlights and I was just open and I listened and learnt and each week got easier nerve wise to control. And the pressure felt less and less and less on myself. So when I stood up on stage, I was like, this is mine. Nothing's worked out for me. Nothing. Like I haven't booked the jobs that I wanted to get, all those auditions that I've done my whole life. I've never landed anything, but I
yeah.
know this is it. This
Yeah.
is my one yes that I'm going to get. I felt it in my bones. I was like, that this is mine. And I think whether that was delusion, a form of manifestation, whatever you want to call it, it just felt right. And could see myself winning, and there was no other option in my head.
Yeah. Yeah. And that kind of like natural, as I said, this kind of natural, like I went back and watched your first live show when you came out on stage. There was this kind of natural showman to it. Was that, do you think, your background? Was there like, obviously you were mentored by Nicole Scherzinger. Was that anything that, and I don't know how, quote unquote, real that mentoring is and how actually involved she was kind of in your prep and so on and so forth. But how much of that was given to you as kind of like this, prep for here's how you really exude that showman kind of aura and charisma on stage?
Yeah, I guess it's a combination. Maybe it did come from musical theatre back, like training. Like I was used to being in audition rooms. I was
Yeah.
used to a panel of people sat in front of me while I had to bear everything,
Yeah.
whether that be acting, dancing, mainly singing for me. And I don't remember much on the show. It was more focused on vocals. So they
Okay.
make sure that we could hold the notes longer, hold this longer here because they'll love that. Well, sorry, Sully wants. Um, and I guess a combination is probably the right answer. As far as Nicole, I remember her giving me confidence. Like she'd come to my sound check and she would, be like, okay, baby, just like, loosen up here and you over there or walk over there. And she would always say, balls to the wall. She like, balls to the wall. You just fucking go. And I would.
And there was one performance, as I mentioned, I did go back and have a look at a bunch of them. There was one performance I did want to ask you about because I was watching it, obviously with hindsight, knowing what I know now, and it was Secret Love Song. And obviously that's become a little bit of an anthem for like the queer community when we feel we have to hide our love away or we can't hold that person's hand or dance on that dance floor with them. Did you feel that performing it, or were you so in a different world, so working method that you didn't feel it? But like I'm watching it and I can feel it.
Yeah. So I was like, when I'm thinking business mind, I go, okay, Simon, Little Mix, Psycho, push the song, put it out, put it back in people's minds. I'm gonna sing it on TV that night. They'll probably get a load of people go to it and re-listen. But then another part of me was like, oh God, they know. They know.
They've given it to me.
Yeah. I was like, fuck, they caught me out. And I remember just being like, just trying to like be cool about it. I was a bit like, whatever. I'm not really, but in my heart, I was like, why can't I hold it? I really felt it because I was just like, yes, that is it. But
Yeah.
so that's so like, don't dye his hair back, and it's just, I don't know. It's a mess. It's a mess.
Yeah.
It's so complex. It's
Yeah.
so, I don't know. But yeah, God, I loved that song. I was a bit scarred from it because I actually sang it twice on the show. So I
Okay.
sang it at boot camp as well.
Okay.
And I don't know what happened. I don't know if this was on purpose, but it came in. It was supposed to come in lower male key,
Yeah.
and it came in Little Mix's key, right? So it's about 4 semitones higher than what I would know. Luckily, boy's got a bit of range, and I've channeled my Perry Edwards inner self and belted it out. I mean, but obviously it wasn't my best. Like, it's not what I'd practiced. It's not what was in my body. It's my voice. It was the first time I'd ever done it like that. So I remember fighting it and being like, but I've already sang this song. And they were
Mm.
like, doesn't matter. So
It's an amazing performance.
thanks.
People should go and check it out. Like, it's such a,
Ah,
especially again, with that hindsight being 2020, we know what we know now. Like, we can feel it. And obviously went on to win the entire thing, which is just such a kind of a huge achievement. I think because X Factor's not on TV now, maybe we forget how huge X Factor was. Like, everyone watched it every Saturday, Sunday. It was just a kind of a staple of our calendars. What's that moment like when they say, Matt Terry, you've won the entire thing? And then I'm super curious actually about the next day. Like, you wake up somewhere, like, what's it like
it's
the next day waking up knowing I just won the X Factor and what's going to come next?
God, I can't. I think that's why so many people that experience such highs have so much struggle afterwards, because there is not, you can never get higher than that.
Yeah.
You can never. There is no feeling that I've ever experienced. I don't know if mushrooms would do it, but maybe it would. But like, naturally, that high,
Yeah.
you cannot, there is no euphoria like that
Yeah.
that you'll ever experience. Like, very, very quickly, most of the world at that time knows who you are.
Yeah.
You have done this massive thing that is bigger
Yeah.
than you and that you will ever be. And I just remember feeling that I'd done it. Like,
Mm.
that all these years, my 23 years on earth that I've put towards trying to be a known creative in this world, it's finally happened.
Yeah.
I wasn't scared at all, but I remember the next day I woke up in a hotel, and when Christmas comes around, my winner song, I was playing out loud on my phone under my pillow, and it was just on loop. That's all I had. So, winter day, turned to grey, but the hair last night. That's what I woke up to behind me. And I remember the hair and makeup team come in at 5 o'clock, getting me ready for the interview and the clothes that I was putting on. And that's what I did for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So basically lived in a hotel for a couple of weeks and went on every show, radio station imaginable, which is great. Put yourself out there and promote your record. And then I went home to my family, where
Yeah.
my bedroom was turned into an office, and it was good. It was like I was on the sofa bed with our dog for Christmas. All my family had made pajamas with my winner single on
That's so
to
cute.
celebrate, and I just had a great Christmas, really. But
Yeah.
I'd like, my mind had gone, like, now looking back, my mind had gone. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I'd bought my whole family an iPad each. I was losing my mind. Like, my
Yeah.
perspective was lost. I was
Yeah.
like, I don't know, not in like an arrogant way, but just in a
No.
I was deluded. Like, I'm not
Yeah.
walking around being like, hey, where's my driver? Where's my red coloured only Skittles in my
Yeah.
dressing room? It wasn't that. It was my perception of me.
Yeah.
It's not like I turned into a monster or a diva. It was just my perception of myself has been lost.
Yeah.
I didn't know how big or small I was,
Yeah.
in the world.
Yeah. And also because you've been in a machine, right? Like, you've been in this process. And I'm super interested to know. I'm sure the reality is complicated, right, for a show like the X Factor and coming out of a show like the X Factor, because from the outside, voice, charisma, fan base, this huge launching pad. But then, as I say, this kind of X Factor complication, opportunity, but also complication that comes with that because you're part of now a process and a team. Do you feel that coming out of the X Factor, you and or the industry kind of had set you up in the right environment to be the artist you knew you kind of wanted to be deep down and to kind of have the success you knew you could achieve and wanted to achieve?
Yeah, not at all. So from the show and then management and the people around me, there was never once that I was sat down and said, like, what do you want?
Yeah,
What do you want to sound like? It was all machined for me. And it just comes from, that was the formula that they've known for all these years that worked for them. But 2016 was like that, just like something shifted that year
yeah,
of like, do we care about record sales? Like, what's streaming? Like, what's being counted these days? It was so in like this gray area. But it was just, yeah, it was a bit of a mess. Like, I'd go into a studio session and they, like, the label would have already said, right, he speaks fluent Spanish, he's the next Enrique Iglesias. And then I go into another room, they'd be like, he's the next Nick Jonas, he's all
mm,
these different successful artists. So that's just me being like, oh my God, that's amazing. I'm being compared to Enrique Iglesias and Nick Jonas. Respectfully, they can't sing like me.
yeah,
And that we're not the same artists.
yeah,
And I'd flipping love their career. Of course I would.
yeah,
Like, absolutely. But I can't, I can't thrive if I'm not being myself. And this is
yeah,
a pattern throughout my whole life. I've not been myself forever, and it doesn't work. So whilst I'm being told to go and hold some like a Love Islander's hand outside a gym so the paparazzi can get us, I'm just saying yes. I know
mm,
it's wrong, but I'm also like, these people hold me in their hands.
yeah,
If I don't do what they want, they're going to lose interest in me and I'm done.
yeah,
And that happened, but they dropped me anyway, so I didn't win by
yeah,
listening. It got me nowhere by being the artist or the person that they were pushing me to be,
yeah,
you know? Don't get me wrong, like, of course the music's me, like, I wrote it, but I wondered if I'd had the opportunity or the right team around me to say, "Hey, look, like, you are a singer.
yeah,
Let's lean into that. What do you wanna talk about?
yeah,
But I didn't know that I could do that. I was just like, "I'm signed to a record label. These are the songs. Let's go." And these are the
yeah,
type this is if I wanted to write, so I was like, I wanna be in the rooms, I wanna write the music, and these are the songs that they want, so this is what we're gonna go for. But ultimately, that is, that's like, would I have chosen that art cover, the album cover? No. Did I, were there songs on there that I didn't want? Absolutely.
yeah,
So, but I didn't know the power that I held
yeah,
then.
yeah,
I
yeah,
guess I would go back and do things differently, but I can't. So I have
yeah.
to accept what is.
Yeah. But also at 23, I don't know anyone at 23 that's going to kind of stand up to a bunch of record execs or writers or these people who have had this success with other artists and say, no, 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 I want to do it this way, right? Like, I think to expect that of yourself is kind of a crazy expectation, right? Of course, I think anyone in that position would have gone down that same route. But to your point, it is often that moment when you find your own voice and you find your own way of being an artist that you truly kind of come into your own. And obviously, you released His Car in 2024, which is this kind of beautiful song. And it felt to me like you were doing that. You were taking control of your own story. And obviously, you were opening up about your sexuality kind of on your own terms. Talk me through the process of His Car. Talk me through the process of how it felt, it came out, the reaction to it, and just kind of everything around that.
So I, to my knowledge, hadn't worked with another gay songwriter or producer ever.
Yeah.
And over COVID, I did a writing camp on Zoom where we write music for loads of other people. And I met somebody on there who lived in London Bridge, which was like 20 minutes from me. And he said, I'd love to get in the studio with you. And I said, let's do it. So once COVID finished, I went in. He lived with his boyfriend, which I was like, oh, that's cool. And we just started writing music. No idea, whatever. And we wrote his car in about 45 minutes, just sat at a piano, no production on.
That's
It was just
incredible.
me and him. He was doing that dun 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 dun. I started singing dun, dun, in the back of his car. He's like, "That's cool. Let's try this." What? And it just
Yeah.
happened, and I was like, "Fuck!" Like this happened because we've both done this,
Yeah.
me and him. Like that's his experience and mine, and he was generous enough to give that part of him to my song, and then we wrote the rest of that EP, and I never intended, or like it wasn't a plan. Like I never sat down and said, I'm going to write a song that I'm going to come out with.
Yeah.
Like we just wrote that song, and I was like, fuck, I think I have to put this out. This it just feels like I need to.
Yeah.
So I just put the whole thing. I did everything. Like I shot the video, I produced the video, I directed the video, I sourced it for everything. I was the researcher. I was like I did it all. I cast
Yeah.
it. I did everything, wrote it. The only thing I didn't do was produce it.
Yeah.
That was Tim who did his incredible production. And that's when I was like, I think this is how I'm gonna do it. Like I don't believe in coming out, but I do believe in like I was just feeling tired of what we spoke about earlier, of everything to do with the LGBTQIA plus community in the media is
Yeah.
always the dark drug club side, which yes exists and is such a part of not only our community, the world.
Yeah.
So I wanted to tell like a heart stopper, like the boy next door story. This is my love story. This is what I did. Like I'm not going out and just getting like fucked and like fucking loads of people and doing loads of drugs in the middle of the night, like to numb myself. I am hiding in a car because it's the
Yeah.
only place I know safe because no one can get in there. Like I've got people that walk in and out of my house all the time, and like that's our safe place. And I wanted to
Yeah.
tell that story, and I know there's millions of guys out there doing that, and it worked because I got like that's to this day the best response I've ever had to a song, and I was being myself, and it just showed me that it was enough. And there is still to this day, I get messages. Like I remember one person in particular, he was like mid-30s, and they were using my song to send to family members to tell them about themselves, to be like, "Hey,
Wow.
mum, this is what I'm going through," and send my music video and be like, "I'm doing this, and here's my boyfriend, and we've been together for 4 years, and I'm 35," and then like it's just like I'm like,
Yeah.
that is incredible. That is the best gift, like for my song to be like that vehicle for
Yeah.
them to be able to communicate. And if I've inspired you and given you your bravery, fuck it, that's the best thing. That's why I'm an artist.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why I do it.
Yeah.
Because I want to help. I want to help people. I want to be there. So
And did you feel like that was the moment, like from in outside looking in, it feels like that was kind of a moment where everything changed. Like, did you feel like, okay, this is the response, this is the reaction. Now I can just be me authentically in everything I do.
yeah, because if I can, that's that was my deepest, darkest secret that I've held within forever. So once that's out, you know what? Come on, like I've competed in the X Factor. I've faced
Yeah.
Simon Cowell. I dropped his car. I can do anything. So yes, is the answer.
Yeah. And now the music that's coming out, right? Skittles, Karma, Superglue, it's just incredible music, but it feels so different to what you've been doing in the past. Kind of without knowing you personally, do you think the music we're hearing now, the vibe we're getting from you now, is this as close as a listener can get to kind of just the real Matt Terry?
Mm. Funny you say that because I always go through phases of, is this me? But
Mm,
of course it's me. Like like this has come out of me, and
yeah,
it's just the different phases of life. This music is like this because of it's so free because I feel so free,
yeah,
and it's upbeat because I feel upbeat. it just happens, and that's why it sounds like that. I think I'm yet to do my project of like my soulful sound,
Mm,
and I think it's like we are used to boxing people to that's what this artist sounds like, that's what this artist sounds like, that's what this artist sounds like. Beyonce, that's all I'll say,
yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
and I
yeah,
know I'm not Beyonce, but she can go from doing a dance album to a country. She's come from R&B, she's done soulful, she's been in a, like, she's just like, we are all of these genres. Um, and I get it's nice and neat for an artist, like visually, it is to stay in your lane. And maybe if I found one that I love the most, I would stay in it. But for now, I'm just experimenting, and I have to put these out to figure out still and to know exactly who I like. Of course, I know who I am and who I am as an artist, but we're always learning and we're
yeah.
always evolving. So this this EP sounds like if you caught me on a good day when the sun's out and I've had a little Negroni and I'm walking my dog and you found me on the street, I'd start singing Kiss Skills.
Yeah. It's such a summer track. Like the album, the EP is such a summer vibe. Like that's what I appreciate. Like you're dropping it May 22nd. We just read it, and we're in the UK. We're about to have a heat wave, so the timing almost couldn't be better. So it
Yeah,
just feels like such a summer vibe. What do you want? I guess we talked about the kind of these different, and I think I agree with you. Right, it's some of the most successful artists are those that can constantly reinvent themselves. Like they don't stick to one thing. Like you take a look at, even take someone like a Cher, like Cher back in the day to Cher now is very, very different. Kylie, others have all done that. What do you want people to understand about you as an artist today from listening to Party in My Room?
oh, I love that. I want people to feel like I'm approachable. I want to be that person that anybody can talk to.
Yeah,
And I think with social media, it can look so pretty and so striking and so, oh, I'm at the British Fashion Awards, I'm at the BAFTAs, I'm at like, I respectfully don't care about all of that stuff. I'm trying to be seen, to be heard, you
yeah,
know? I want people to think, like, I'm just like Matt.
yeah,
I'm just like him. I've been through what he's been through. I wouldn't, I used to feel like, yeah, pop star feels all polished and just like this godly figure. But the older I get, I'm like, I'm an artist. Like I'm somebody that would go and do a gig and sit down with my with my
yeah,
fans afterwards for a drink and have a chat and ask what you liked. What did you like? I really want them to feel like I'm personal and I'm an approachable individual, and that we're the same and that we're
yeah.
on the same level, that nobody's above or below anyone, or nobody's better or less than somebody else, that we're all the same. I think with the perception, like again, you go on TikTok and it's just like if you're not 24 with a matcha in your hand and like a Range Rover and a 4-bed house and you don't have like, then you failed.
Yeah.
Shush. That means nothing. That means
Mm,
nothing because I tell you, I've had a Range Rover and a penthouse, and that was in my deepest, darkest times of my life. It doesn't mean anything. And you think it does. And then as soon as you get it, you're like, is this it? And
yeah.
that is what that's what TikTok is telling you that you need to strive for. And on your vision board is the same black Range Rover that everybody is driving, and it's on everybody's vision board. And the amount of money you want in your bank account, cool. But when you die, none of that can come with you.
Yep.
So you've spent your whole life worrying and giving all your time to something that you can't take. It's
Yeah.
not yours, and it never will be. Everything is borrowed.
Yeah.
So I'm all about like I'm feet on the ground, and that's cool. Yeah, I like nice things too. I like my nice home. I like my nice car, but that's not my goal.
Yeah.
You know, like it's just not it. It's
Yeah.
not where I've gone off on such a tangent. I don't even know what you asked.
Well, I think what's interesting though is as I was listening to your response, I think it's so clear to me. Two things were really clear to me. One is how important it is to have people like you who can be a voice for some of us who will never have the opportunity to have our voice heard on such a stage, right? Think about his car, like, as you said, so many of us had that experience. So many of us have felt that feeling of hiding something and only having this one safe place where you could be yourself. And to your point, the fact that you can be that voice, and even if you go all the way back to the start when we started talking about Heartstopper, that's what people felt from Heartstopper. People were sending Nick Nelson's coming out scene to their families because it was a way for them to tell them that they were bi or gay or trans or however they identify. It's so important we have voices like yours, in my opinion, queer voices that we can listen to and hear our stories told. You and I would have grown up, you're younger than maybe we grew up through a similar era where all the voices we heard were straight and all the songs we heard from male singers were about women. And so I think that's what I'm getting from you, is this kind of desire to help be a voice for so many of us who won't ever have a voice, and the ability to tell that story on such a big stage.
Wow, that is so kind, because I feel like I don't have such a big stage, but I understand that from another like that's where I'm trying to get, you know, like that is it. That is the goal. That is my end goal. I want to be on the biggest stage in the world, singing my songs, not for financial gain, not for blue ticks or fame, to be able to reach as many individuals as I can that feel the same way that I do, that we feel like a bit in the middle of the world. Like there's like a sense of belonging, a sense of, you know, that's what's important to me. I'm a middle child. I've grown up like in a different country where I've been an outsider, to come back to this country where I've also been kind of isolated. Because wait, you're not kind of, are you English? Are you Spanish? Are you gay? Are you straight? Are you like, you like an older brother? Are you a younger brother? Are you like, I'm in the middle, like, it's taken me a long time to understand that being in the middle is great. Like, it's not too much, it's not too little, it's just right. Like, we're just going to sit here and it's all right to live in this gray area. It's not one or the other. And that's what I want to, it's taken me years to get here. And that's what I want to give back to the world.
I love that. Okay. Well, we started this conversation talking about your younger self and talking about you as you were kind of stepping into the world of X Factor. So I want to go back to that. 2016, you're about to step into that audition room, sing Stand By Me. Knowing everything you know now, what advice would you give to yourself in that moment, stepping into that room?
I would say trust your instincts and trust yourself, because you know what you're talking about. You know what you like, and you know who you want to be, at least. Even if you're not there yet, you have the idea. To value myself, to say that I would have done a great job if I'd have spoken my mind. To trust.
Yeah. I love that. And I think that's a good advice for anyone. Trust yourself, because, you know, that is where you will succeed. And that's where you'll kind of get to the heights you know you can do. Matt, thank you so much for being on Queer Talker with me. Thank you so much for, as I say, giving us Party in My Room just in time for a summer, which hopefully will be a great summer. But also thank you for being what we were just talking about, being that voice for people like me and people like us who haven't had that voice before, haven't been able to turn on a song and hear their story told so authentically. So thank you for that you're doing, but also thank you for being on Queer Talker with me today.
Oh my God, thanks for having me. Honestly, it's been a blast, and your questions are great, and I love how deep that we could get